Hey, sweeties. Have y'all joined the Tea Party yet? The Tea Party is the official VIP group for Tea and Talk, where you get even more, including merchandise, early access to episodes, extra episodes, shout-outs, and more. The Tea Party is a community for women like me and you. Girl, you better stop playing and get the tea while it's hot. Join the Tea Party by clicking the link in the show notes. Hey, sweet teas, and welcome to Tea and Talk, a self-development podcast. I'm your host, Taffia Stokes. You know, they say a woman is like a cup of tea. You can't tell her strength until you put her in hot water. Well, the water is hot, sis, so let's see your strength. Grab your tea and get comfortable, and join me as I get into it on this episode of Tea and Talk. Happy Sunday, sweet teas, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Tea and Talk, where the tea is always hot and the talk is sweet. I'm your host, Taffia Stokes. I hope that you're all starting your week off on a good note, clean slate, and spent some time recharging over this past weekend. I would absolutely love if you can leave me a review and tell me where you are in the world and what are you usually doing when you take the time to listen to my podcast. I also wanted to take the time to shout out someone from, well, actually not a review, but they messaged me and found me on Instagram prior to me putting my Instagram in the show notes and on my link tree. And her name is Ashley K. And it's a little lengthy, so I'll just read a few sentences. It says, "Hey, I love your podcast. I refer it to all of the ladies on my investment team. I've been working on being consistent when listening to at least one episode every single day. And I've been trying to find your Instagram for a little while now, but I finally found it. And I know I'm in alignment because I clicked on your page and you have 44.4 thousand followers. Thank you, Ashley K, for listening to my podcast and for referring me to your investment team. Like, big ups to you. I really appreciate that. So, guys, I've been thinking for a while about switching the timing and day of the week that the show is released. If you have been listening since day one, you know that this show is in dedication to my grandmother. Our Tea and Talk would be every Sunday afternoon. So, following that lead, the show will be moved to Sundays at noon. While y'all are all cleaning, meal prepping, and getting ready for the upcoming week, throw some Tea and Talk into that routine. So y'all know that I always keep it 100 with y'all, right? And this episode is no different. Just like you all, I'm also trying to become the best version of myself that I can be, not only for myself, but for my son and my husband as well. With that change, growth, and transformation, there comes the dissolving and ending of relationships, friendships, and, unfortunately, family. In my efforts to become the best version of myself, I've noticed I've become isolated, or secluded, if you will. When it first started to happen, I definitely took it personal. Ultimately, I thought that the fact that I was becoming so secluded from friends and family meant that something was wrong with me. Friends began to fall off, go ghost, and disappear. Family began to fall off, stop calling, and checking up. Some of these relationships ended in arguments, but many of the friendships and even family relationships literally just faded away and dissolved into nothingness. One day we didn't talk, and that was that, literally. Looking back now, I feel as though the relationships that I had were more one-sided than equal. I would always give a relationship my all and try to resolve issues that would arise and put out the fires on my own. I would break the ice when things got difficult or uncomfortable in those relationships. I would reach out when we didn't talk for days or weeks on end. Or it was me that would plan times to get together to do things, only to have people flake on me. I was always reaching out and texting or calling to keep those relationships with those individuals flourishing and growing. My efforts were never met with the same enthusiasm and or energy. So when some friendships faded away, to be honest, I sort of felt relieved. I felt like I could breathe and I wasn't walking on eggshells. Like now I don't have to give that person that much energy, but instead can now use that energy for something else, such as my creativity, projects, myself, or my family. Don't get me wrong, it stung a bit initially, but then I began to see the bigger picture. I began to see it for what it was. When family began to fade away, I didn't know how to take it or react. If you know me, you know that I am huge on family, or was huge on family. I love just being around those people that I called family. In the past, I would allow family members to treat me like shit and still do things for them because in my mind, well, that was family. You don't just stop talking to family. You have to take their shit and put up with them because they are your family, right? Reflecting and even saying this now makes me anxious and at the same time a bit angry, not only at those family members, but at myself for not seeing the signs right then and there. Family or not, no one should treat you like shit. No one should make you feel like shit, and you don't have to take shit from no one. I really wish that this was something that I came to realize sooner in life. However, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. So I realized this at the right and perfect time that it was meant for me to realize it. I'm at a place now that I can't take the time and energy to put in situations or relationships, especially if that person is not doing the same and meeting me with the same. Why put in 100% when someone is only going to put in 10? Each individual should be putting in 50% at least and nothing less to make the relationship work for both parties. Funny thing is, when you meet people with the same amount of energy that they meet you with, they take it as a disrespect or get angry or frustrated, mad, and irritated about it. When, in turn, they were doing the same shit. How fucked is that? They can't stand getting a dose of their own medicine when they were the damn pharmaceutical rep who manufactured that shit. I must put some blame on me, though, because people knew that I would give 100%, no matter what, because that is just my nature. I am super kind-hearted and love to help and make people smile. So them knowing that, they can withdraw 50% of their energy and still get the same results is partly me. But now that I know better, I do better. The past is the past, and the old Sophia is there with it. I'm not even going to stoop to meet people with any amount of energy at that point. If I notice people are going to scale back, then I'm going to withdraw. At this stage in my life, I need relationships that are meaningful to me and people who fill me up and feed my soul. No half-stepping, literally. Now, I know people get busy, and that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about those people who say they don't have time or they don't answer the phone when you need them but claim they are always there for you. The people who flake on you all the time. The people who bring more stress than joy. Those are the people that I'm talking about. When I say I've literally had so many people drop out of my life, I mean a lot. No exaggeration. And now as I am reflecting, growing, transforming, and walking in my purpose, I understand exactly why. Everyone isn't meant for you at every stage in your life. Everyone is not good for you mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Everyone isn't happy for you, and everyone doesn't want to see you win if you are beyond who they are. Everyone doesn't deserve your time or your patience. People come into your world, and most are temporary, and I've learned that this is okay. There is a lesson hidden in every relationship that you encounter on this journey. Something that the other person has taught you, something that particular relationship has taught you, or something that you learned about yourself along the journey. Take the lesson and keep it pressing, though. Don't overthink it or put too much thought into it. I know that may sound a bit callous, but I'm speaking from my experience, y'all. The more thought and energy you put into it, the more you waste, the more hurt you get. Sweet teas, be very bougie with your time and energy. This is a new chapter that we are in and stepping into, and it is time for us to be okay with turning the page. Now that I look at things differently, I am starting to be that way, bougie with my time and energy. I'm not arguing for the sake of arguing. If they say the earth is square, then so it is, sis. People will only take their perspective into consideration anyways, if they're closed-minded. Some people argue just to prove a point or seem more intelligent than another person. I say to that, yeah, you right, baby. I have bigger fish to fry than to try to convince someone of my perspective. It isn't up to you to teach people where they are wrong. It is up to them to self-reflect and then learn from that. See people for who they are and as they are. If they don't listen the first time, is it really worth it to go into it a second, third, or fourth time? Be bougie where you place your energy. I'm not going above and beyond for those people who just expect that from me, but will not do the same in return. That's wasted energy on situationships. My energy and time are expensive. I am worthy of more than that, and no one is going to keep walking all over me as if I am a doormat. No, sirree, Bob, not today, not anymore. You know what? Inconsistency is something else I am no longer standing for and will be disconnecting from. Inconsistency used to trigger me, and then I learned and saw it for what it was. I see it as either you're here for me and here with me, or you aren't. There's no more in between. And what I mean by that is those that only call when they need something or want to brag about themselves, but never there any other time for you. They don't want to hear your great news or your accomplishments. Even if they act like they're listening, pay attention to how they react or what they say next. Some people only listen to hit you with a quick response. Pay attention to those people. Or those people that weave in and out of your life doing pop-ups once a year or every few years. I'm not a damn pop-up shop, and the fact that they only call for this or that tells me that I'm not that important otherwise. My worth is more than that. I'm more than that. It takes a few seconds to write a text saying just thinking about you or hi. People make time for what they want to make time for. Pay attention. Know your worth. Don't let anyone treat you any less than your worth. If they try, then bye, time to move on. Just like you aren't worth it to them, they shouldn't be worth it to you either. Again, I point out signs. Pay attention to signs. When someone acts a certain way towards you or says certain things to you, be mindful of that. If they act a certain way towards you when they are around others, pay attention to that. If they will only celebrate you in private but never in public, pay attention to that. They are showing you their true colors, and you most definitely should believe them. Take everything as a lesson. Everything is meant to help you grow. So appreciate every interaction, but approach things mindfully. Understand and know that people that you lost are meant to be with the old, unhealed version of you. There's no reason that you need to go back to that old version. Keep going, keep walking, and keep striving to be the best, most authentic, healed version of yourself that you can be. Keep shining, love. And until next time, love and light. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Tea and Talk. Stay tuned every Monday for new episodes. If you love Tea and Talk, be sure to give a rating and your feedback at the end of this episode. Want more Tea and Talk? Join the Tea Party VIP group. Click the link in the description of this episode to learn more. I'm excited to talk to you all next week. So until next time, love and light.